Does Daemon have a hidden agenda to become king? In the previews for the second season of House of the Dragon, we have been able to see how Daemon, the rogue prince, has been acting in a rather disturbing way. Could it be that Daemon is destined to betray Rhaenyra? In this video, we will be analyzing the reasons why Daemon might betray Rhaenyra in the second season of House of the Dragon. And for more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. Welcome to the Oasis Geek. Before we continue with this video, I invite you to participate in our new House of the Dragon giveaway, in which we are offering a Funko Pop of one of the characters from the House of the Dragon. To participate, all you have to do is subscribe to this channel and comment on who is your favorite character from House of the Dragon and why. The winner will be announced on June 30th. To understand why Daemon might betray the Queen, we must analyze his behavior in the revealed scenes over the last few weeks and the trailers alike. This could give us a better insight into how Daemon's mental state might be right now. In the first season, we could see how Daemon reacted in different stressful situations, as we could also see that Daemon couldn't stand how Otto Hightower manipulated his brother, King Viserys. We saw how Daemon almost ended the life of the messenger, who was carrying the message that Viserys offered him help in Stepstones. We also saw when Daemon insulted the princess, with the ease with which Daemon took his life. However, the rogue prince always kept his emotional composure, as if he had no emotions, as if he always kept control of what was going on around him. But the only time we saw him start to lose his sanity was when he was given the news of the death of his brother, King Viserys. Daemon goes into a rage because he thinks that the Hightowers are to blame for his brother's death. Daemon knew that Viserys was a weak king, and for that reason the council was taking advantage of him. Daemon's last memory of King's Landing was when the Hightowers were planning to take away Lucerys's birthright, when suddenly the king enters and retakes the throne, thus deciding in favor of Rhaenyra's side. But even though the king came in and left things as he had established them, Daemon thinks that Viserys has been a weak king throughout his reign. Now, Rhaenyra's reaction to the news of her father's death is not what Daemon expected. Rhaenyra starts to think about her allies, entering into a sort of denial, and on top of all that, she also had problems with her childbirth. Daemon begins to see Viserys reflected in Rhaenyra. Rhaenyra talks about prophecies and keeping the kingdom together, but Daemon understands that it's time to go to war. For him, the prophecies or other superstitions that may exist do not matter, but rather it is time to take up the sword and stop the rebellion that is occurring. While Rhaenyra gives birth, she sends her son Jaehaerys to control Daemon, so that no decisions are made without the queen's presence. Jaehaerys is Rhaenyra's eldest son and is the heir to the Iron Throne, so Daemon is supposed to respect him. Rhaenyra knows that using Jaehaerys against Daemon is a dangerous thing to do, but it is the only way to stop Daemon's military moves. Jaehaerys demands Daemon stop any and all actions while Rhaenyra is in bed, to which Daemon replies, "Good thing the prince is here, and he is asked to patrol the skies with his dragon." Jaehaerys asks Daemon if he heard what he said. This disrespect towards Daemon could only come from an inexperienced prince who doesn't understand what is going on at that moment, or perhaps a very brave young man with dragon blood. Jaehaerys put himself at risk, but Daemon used that moment to teach the prince a lesson. The first thing is that the men of the Black Council ignore Jaehaerys' words. They proceed with Daemon's plans. And then Daemon shows Jaehaerys the difference between loyalty and fear. Daemon shows Rhaenyra's son that although these men have sworn loyalty to their mother, and are supposed to respect Jaehaerys' orders as well, by having a dragon in front of them, they will do as Daemon says. Daemon shows that loyalty without fear is useless. Sometimes you have to guide people by using fear to make them understand their place. Again, Daemon sees that Rhaenyra does not have the mind of a conqueror, as he saw in his brother, because she orders them to stop everything while she was in recovery. In the last episode, when Rhaenyra tells him about the prophecy and keeping the kingdom united, Daemon attacks Rhaenyra and tells her that the dragons were the ones who made them kings. It seems that Daemon is willing to do anything to prevent the crown from remaining weak. He wants her to act as a conqueror, but seeing her diplomatic attitude, Daemon decides to control her with fear. Rhaenyra may not fear Caraxes as much as his men fear him, but she does fear Daemon's actions in a way. This means Daemon is willing to use fear as a weapon of coercion to achieve his goals. As long as the result is that his men respect him, or that Rhaenyra does what he desires. This behavior from Daemon is not new. We already saw how Daemon, through fear, used the gold cloaks to control the criminals in the city, and how he instilled fear in stepstones. But what happens when fear is not enough? Although Daemon suggested an early attack on the Hightower, Rhaenyra decided to take her own course. She spared Otto's life, then sent her sons as messengers. Daemon must have been extremely upset, not being able to do the things he was supposed to do. Lucerys loses his life, and Rhaenyra's side appears to be in serious trouble. While Rhaenyra thinks of those who swore allegiance to her in the prophecies, Daemon searches for the dragon of the former king Jaehaerys Targaryen. The dragon Vermitor is another weapon Daemon wishes to use against the Greens. This means that even though Rhaenyra was continuing with her pacifist plans, Daemon was moving his chips with the moves he thought were the right ones. Literally regardless of the orders of the queen, his wife. Then, it is Daemon who breaks the news to Rhaenyra about the loss of Lucerys. Daemon knows he was right, and that because of Rhaenyra her son lost his life. Daemon has to make a decision. Continue to support Rhaenyra and watch how everything gets out of hand, as it happened with Viserys, or sabotage Rhaenyra's reign and keep the Iron Throne. If it was the dragons that made the Targaryens kings, perhaps it is for this reason that Daemon seeks more dragons, because he wants the throne. But how could he steal the throne when Rhaenyra is his niece and his wife? Well, something similar to what happened to Rhea Royce when she hindered the prince's goals could happen to her. Daemon did not love her as a wife, but he desired to acquire power. If this was enough to take the life of the Runestone heiress, how much more could he do to Rhaenyra when he could become king? Daemon has had several opportunities to take down Rhaenyra, as it was in Dragonstone, or even the Night of the Brothel, which was also a sign of how easy Rhaenyra is to convince, but apparently, Daemon has patiently waited for Rhaenyra to act as he wishes. So in the second season, we might see a completely different Daemon than in the books. In one of the released scenes from the last few weeks, we could see that Daemon hits a table and quickly approaches Rhaenyra, acting violently against the queen. Daemon's attitude is not the attitude of a person who follows orders or respects the ranks. Daemon is tired and is in war mode. What could stop Daemon from betraying the queen are her next actions. If Rhaenyra decides to give all military power to Daemon and asks him for Lucerys' revenge, Daemon might trust Rhaenyra again. In the meantime, he sees her as a female version of his brother, a weak queen who was manipulated and who has lost her son because of her poor military decisions. Let's not forget that Corlys Velaryon trusts Daemon too much and might give him his support as well. But tell me, what do you think about all this? Will Daemon have reasons to betray Rhaenyra? Will we see the breakup of both of them in the second season? Or do you think the story will be similar to the books, and we will see how Rhaenyra becomes a cruel strategist? And for more videos of your favorite series and movies, don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You are on The Oasis Geek.